Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am JD, aka He Who Pods.
And I'm Dash, aka Dash MD, aka the real king of R&B, aka cool grandma, but not really. I wasn't gonna say it, but then I just feel like this hairdo makes me look a little grandma-ish. So you know,
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot glasses on. So yeah, you see it. Ring light all in your face. That means rear view mirror is in full effect.
some of the grandmas don't use edge tamer, and I feel like that's the difference between. Anyway, so
I'm not getting involved in that one.
I mean, I didn't use any, so that's why it's a little puffed up, but it's fine. Anyway. So you just gotta brush it back.
Feel you, Grandma.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's start this pod. Frank Ocean is working on a film for A24. It says here Frank Ocean is writing and directing a new feature film starring Taylor Russell. It says Taylor Russell is best known for her performance in critically acclaimed films like Waves and Bones and All.
Okay.
She's also currently in talks to star in Ocean's mysterious new film, while plot details remain closely guarded. It says her potential involvement adds excitement and anticipation as her intense, captivating performances have quickly established her as one of the most promising talents in Hollywood. As far as Frank Ocean, it says that for several years, Ocean has been quietly developing a film with A24, the studio renowned for its boundary-pushing, indie-flavored films. Indie-flavored is funny.
It is.
It says now it appears this long anticipated project may soon see the light of day with a major addition to the cast, which is Taylor Russell.
Interesting.
I'm not familiar with Taylor Russell. I got to be honest. But
She looks familiar, but I can't place where I've seen her before. I'm not familiar with the movies that you mentioned.
me either.
So, I'll have to do a little bit more research on her.
But she's
But
very popular because I just went to her Instagram and she's got 1 million followers and she was on Vogue
okay, good for
in
her.
February. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
But good for her and good for Frank Ocean. This is cool. Has he done movies before?
No, this is the first one.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that not only is he directing, but he's writing. I would think the writing, yes, but I wouldn't expect Frank Ocean to direct it. I know he has a project that's very visual and that's what people love. But a film is kind of different and I wouldn't have expected that. So I think this is cool that we're going to see him do both of the parts of this film that we often hear people, get reference to. So I don't know what a Frank Ocean movie would look like or what the script would be like. So this is really interesting to me. And I love when creative people go into different fields and start, allowing us to see some of their talents there. So I think this is pretty fly. And I'm curious to see what else comes. I'm a big A24 fan. I watch a lot of A24 films. And so I'm curious to see what else they've done. The thing that's cool about them, even though it said indie flavored, quote unquote, is that A24 has a wide range of films. Like they have all of these really weird horror type films, but then they just have a lot of other stuff too that's not horror and it's just equally weird.
Yeah.
And so I think that's cool that he is with them. And I think it's cool that they're allowing him to develop this and take his time because it said that this has been in the works for years. So I think that's fly. I think that's really cool that he's able to take his time. I know a lot of times these things can be rushed. We hear all the time like they were rushing for us to finish the script. We didn't get to fully develop the character the way we wanted to. We had deadlines. So I think this is great that they are allowing him to take the time he needs to fully flush it out and are working with him to make it happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's cool that he's writing and directing because then that means that he can shape the vision that he has for what he's written.
Right.
Um, a lot of people don't get to do that.
Right.
So, and it's up to whoever does direct to interpret the script to their own liking. So I think it is pretty cool that he's able to have his hands in both.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that gives him a lot of autonomy. And he's a super creative person. So I just feel like it just kind of makes sense to me
Right.
that he would be doing something like this. Um, yeah, and with A24 too, like you said, they do all these weird and interesting uh, things with their films. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of, I see the alignment there between him and A24. I like that pairing. I think that that's a good pairing, and I think they'll create something really interesting. And I hope we get it pretty soon. The What was her name again? I'm sorry, Taylor. Was
Taylor
her name
Russell.
Taylor Russell? Yeah, I want to do a little bit more research because again, I feel like I've seen her in something before, but I can't recall what it is right now, and
See if I could.
I don't have my laptop.
I got you. Let me see what I
Right.
can find on IMDb. Bizzle. IMDb. I would totally do an ad for IMDb. I'm just saying. Like,
You gotta shoot your shot. So do say.
Taylor. Taylor Russell. Wow. Oh, she was born in 1994. I'm about to say how she's been doing stuff since 1994 and I never heard of her. No, no, no. She was born in 94. Okay. She's been in. She's done a lot of stuff since 2012. She was in an episode of Emily Owens MD, a TV movie called Blink. She was in If I Had Wings, the unauthorized Saved by the Bell something. Pants on Fire, a TV movie. Strange Empire. She was in 2 episodes of that. She was in 5 episodes of Falling Skies. She was in the movie Suspension. She was in, I don't know most of this stuff, but she's been in a lot of stuff since 2012.
Yeah, let me see
Uh,
her.
yeah, I know Lost. Okay, so she was in the Lost in Space TV show that Netflix did. She was in 28 episodes, which I think is the full show. It says it ran from 2018 to 2021. It was a successful show, and so she was a part of that. That I know of. Yeah, the rest of this I don't really know. Um, but that seems to be where she did the most TV shows. Everything else is like an episode here, episode there, and then movies and short films and TV stuff. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I don't know this stuff. She was in something called Dead of Summer for 1 episodes. She was in something called Sea Change. She seems to make a lot of TV movies.
Okay.
Um, Whatever, man, doesn't matter.
Yeah, good for her. I mean, I think it's really exciting to, you know.
Oh, and she's in something called Hope, which is in post production. It says. I don't know what that is though.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look her up. I mean, wouldn't hurt to see some of her work. As I said, she looks very familiar to me, but I honestly didn't do research, so I have seen it.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes, and we'll see when A24 gives us a trailer or some more information so we can see what's going on with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a while since we've done a review of something that was not music. And
Yeah.
so I'm gonna try to be not too spoilery with this review.
Oh,
Well, because it just ended last night. So the day we're recording this, last night, the final episode of Penguin came out. And so Penguin is over. It was 8 episodes. It was on Max. And it is a spin-off, or really a continuation of the Batman movie that came out with Zoe Kravitz and with Matt Reeves as the director. What's this guy's name from Twilight? He's the star of the film. Let me go right back to IMDb. I always forget his name.
Colin Farrell.
Robert Pattinson.
Oh,
So in that film, Robert Pattinson is Batman, Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman, and Penguin is Colin Farrell. And so he
oh.
did such an amazing job that this series kind of came from that. And so this series is taking place right after the Batman, which is named in the movie The Batman, right after The Batman, and kind of takes us to the second film. There's going to be 3 films and a couple of TV shows. This one kind of bridges the gap between between the first film and the second film. So this was really interesting, a cool way to do a series. I love that it was a limited series. Um, Colin Farrell did an amazing job as Penguin again, and it's a really interesting show. There's a young lady who kind of has taken off. She is I guess, his co-star technically. She's been all over all the late shows like Jimmy Fallon and all that stuff. Let me pull her name up. I don't know her name. Her name is
What?
Kristen Milotti.
Okay.
Anyway, she's in the show. She does a great job in the show. And she's been all over the place. Every time I turn on YouTube, there's different clips of her talking about Penguin on different shows. Um, yeah, so this is a really good show. Matt Reeves did not do the show. He is an executive producer. IMDb says this show was created by Lauren LaFranc, who I don't know who that is. But yeah, so anyway, 8 episodes on Max. This is not an ad. They didn't pay us, but I watched it. And normally I watch shows late in the game. I watch stuff after they came out, but the last couple things I watched, I kind of watched them pretty much as they were coming out. I watched The Old Man season 2 pretty much as it was coming out, and then Penguin finished last night, and I watched most of it last night and finished it earlier today. So that's the background. So I think this was a really good show. I'm gonna try not to spoil too much because it just came out.
And I
I
still
want
want
to
to see.
be right, and I want to be nice to the people who have been watching it, but maybe didn't get to watch the finale just yet. Um, so let me tell you one of the funniest things about the show, which I think is also one of the flyest things about the show, is every episode it's like Penguin should have died. Every episode Penguin has a near death experience.
Oh.
Every episode it's like, oh, all right, so he might die this episode. Wild.
And then he cheats death.
He cheats death so many times. It's crazy. But yeah, it's a really interesting show. I thought they did a great job of character development. There are some characters that are new to, so a lot of characters in the show are new to that franchise. We really only know 1 or 2 characters when the show starts. I think 3 max, if I'm correct. I don't know. I saw the Batman when it first came out, but it's been a while and I haven't rewatched it. It's 3 hours. I'm not rewatching it. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is a long time.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think only like 3 characters are from this world, when the show starts. People thought Batman would be in it. Batman is not in it. That's not a spoiler. That was announced online. Because as the show was going on, fans kept saying like, well, when are we getting Batman? When are we getting Batman? And the creators of the show said there's no Batman in this show.
Mm.
So I think they did a really good job of introducing new characters and kind of exploring the lore of Gotham City. Um, so it is still Gotham where this takes place, but there's like they go all the way from like the slums of Gotham all the way to like the rich people neighborhoods, and they did a really good job of kind of developing these characters. Even a couple of the characters. What's up?
I was gonna sing the song, but we're not allowed to sing that anymore, so I'm just gonna move right along.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's cool. Um, some of the characters, there's like two characters or whatever. There's a few characters that they kind of, if you know Batman and
Mhm.
Gotham and those characters, that storyline, you know some of these characters. But they also made some interesting changes to those characters. And so this is a really cool Elseworld, which is what it would be called in DC. The way Marvel has What If, DC has the same thing. It's called Elseworld. And so this is an Elseworld story. This whole Batman trilogy and their spin-off shows will not be part of the main DC that's starting over in January. Well, December technically. Next month a show starts. The technically it will be the beginning of the brand new DC universe. This
Okay.
is a side thing in a whole nother universe. None of this is
I was wondering
main.
about that.
Yeah, they listed all the stuff that was side stuff or Elseworlds rather, like Joker and Joker 2, that's a Elseworld. It's not
Okay.
tied to the main DC universe that's starting over.
Mhm.
So this was a really cool Elseworld. The actors really did a phenomenal job.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people are speaking about Colin Farrell and the young lady whose name I read, but everybody who was in this show really put their best foot forward. They really put their foot in the ass of that character, so to speak. They did a great job. You see how these storylines shift and how the show evolved characters over time.
Mhm.
Relationships and plot twists were in there. It's really good. Um, yeah, and then you see basically what they said. Then the show was first announced. They said this would show you how Penguin rises to power in Gotham. Because everybody knows in the Batman world, in Gotham, Penguin is a heavy hitter, right? Penguin is a top guy in the city, so to speak.
Yeah.
So this is a really cool way of showing that instead of the next movie coming and you just being like, how did this happen? How did this guy just become the man? And so
Right.
this is a really cool way of seeing it. But it doesn't come easy. I'll say that. Yeah, it does. It does. Penguin does end up being the man. But it doesn't come easy. Like I said, every episode he cheats death. He has a near death experience. We learn about some of his childhood traumas and all this stuff that's going on in his life and how this guy is just trying to fight tooth and nail to climb his way. So yeah, it's really interesting. There are some things in there that reminded me of the Joker movie. There are some things in there that reminded me of Fight Club. This was really good. It was a really good way of kind of doing your own thing with the character.
Uh-huh.
Because we know about the Penguin character, we know about Gotham, we know about some of the mob families that are in this series, but they kind of made each character their own, right? And so it doesn't feel like the character is the same as something else you saw before. It seems like this character was able to become their own presence in this new weird world that they're creating. And it's very based in realism in a sense. So I thought that was cool too. Like, even though it's a superhero world, it's not like in the middle of a scene, Superman is just flying by or something, or people are not getting, shot 20 times and spitting out the bullets and getting up and keep walking. So that's cool. And I guess that fits the world that Matt Reeves is trying to build for this Batman trilogy that he has going on. So, yeah, I just think it's a good show. I think they did a good job. I talk all the time about how short series sometimes waste your time. There was only one episode this 8 episode show or season because I don't think there's going to be a season two, but people are already starting to ask for a season two.
Mhm.
Um, it was only one episode that I feel like was kind of a filler episode. But even in that episode, like big stuff happened. So I could see why people would say it was not. But there was one episode that kind of dragged a little bit. Kind of felt like, all right, this is a little fillery. So kind of. I didn't want to say so to speak again. Um, so I thought that was good. I hate when short shows drag. I feel like
Yeah,
let's get to the point.
yeah.
So it was interesting, and things continue to happen that evolved the story, progressed the story as each episode went on. Um, and
Okay.
yeah, the young lady again, she did a phenomenal job. You see her go from like this crazy chick to someone who is um uh more calculated to
Okay.
someone who becomes like power hungry. It's like a lot of different things, and you see a lot of depth with her character. So she did an Kristen did an amazing job playing the character of Sophia. It was really cool how they did it. And yeah, actually, what I thought was also really interesting is a lot of this show is about family in a weird way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much. Like I said, the show just ended last night, but you wouldn't think that, you know? But yeah, a lot of this show is about family and bonds and loyalty and friendship. So it was really interesting how that's kind of interwoven into the story.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I'm definitely gonna watch it. It sounds like the characters have they're multi-layered, which is good. It
Hmm.
sounds like they
Hmm.
have a lot of depth, which is always nice. Do you feel like they should do a season two?
No, I don't think they need to. But I could see how they would.
Okay.
Um, I think they ended things well. There's no like cliffhanger.
Okay.
Um, so if you just wanted to continue to further along the story, that's fine. But I don't think you necessarily need a season two. I
Okay.
think now that we see where Penguin is at, if Penguin is the main villain of the next movie, then it's fine. Now, I will say if Penguin is not the main person in the next movie, then perhaps you want a season two. So we could kind of just rock out more with the character and see where it is that he's gonna go next. Also, there are three movies, so it's possible that season two will come, but won't come for a long time, right? It's possible that season two will be between the second and third film
Okay. That makes sense.
because there is another show coming. I don't know 100% what they're naming it, but it's about Gotham itself. It's not supposed to be about any specific villain. It's just supposed to be a series about different things going on in Gotham to also kind of bring you up to speed with what's going on. Um, so I could see them not doing a season two because maybe that Gotham show, whatever it's going to be called, will carry enough for us to get to whatever's coming next.
Okay. It's interesting. Like this sounds is is this character Penguin? Is Penguin similar to Kingpin?
No.
No. Okay, because I know you talk a lot about Gotham and how he has to like rise in Gotham, and I feel like Kingpin was very much. I know it's I know it's not DC, but
Mhm.
it just reminds me of Kingpin like trying to run the city.
I mean, in that sense, yes. If you're gonna just talk about, is it like a mobster show? Yeah, yeah, it's a mobster show of a mobster trying to become number one. Sure, but there's lots of details that make them different.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
think it was same characters, but I just that's the thing I thought of that sounded similar to it. But it sounds like it was a good show. I definitely want to check it out. I have not seen the movie that came before it. Um,
so the cool thing is you don't have to, um, because it's the events that tie to this show are referenced. Um, Now you may not know exactly how the thing happened, but they'll say, for example, like, "Oh yeah, JD had that blue shirt on." You're like, "Oh, okay, JD had a blue shirt on." Now, why did JD have a blue shirt on? You got to go watch the movie, right? But yeah, so there are a couple things that happen in Gotham in the Batman movie that are referenced in the show. There's a couple of things, but the two major things that are in the show are referenced enough that you know what happened. And one thing they straight up show you just from a different person's perspective than in the movie.
Okay.
So you're able to kind of see how things happened. But I think to get the full scope, you should probably watch the movie.
I was gonna watch the movie because sequence is important to me.
Okay.
Like I need to know what happened before.
Hmm.
If it exists, I need to know what happened before and then move on to the next thing. I don't like starting things in the middle.
Understood.
Yeah. So I'll let you know if I do.
Yeah.
Anywho.
We'll wait for that with your Bad Boy review.
Oh, I did the Bad Boy review though.
No.
Oh, I had the new one you mean.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I did the other one.
Yeah, but we waiting for the new one, you know?
Oh yeah, no, I got y'all.
Waiting for your Bad Boy 4 review.
Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
the list.
That and the Batman. We'll be waiting.
Okay. I got you coming soon to a weeknights episode near you.
Right.
All right, well, if that's it, if you don't have any final thoughts, that's the
Well, I figured you
episode.
might have questions, so I did like again. I'm trying not to say too much. So
Well, I've been trying to ask questions in the middle to, see where it's at. I mean, like I said, I feel like I should watch it. And it
mhm.
sounds pretty interesting. Like I said, the characters sound like they have a lot of depth, and you explained it pretty well as far as how it fits into what's happening with the uh, DC universe. So,
Mhm.
no, I think that was a great review.
Yeah. The last thing, thanks. The last thing I will say is I thought it was really interesting. My daughter was disappointed, but I thought it
Mhm.
was really interesting that the Batman, the movie, was PG-13 and the Penguin show is rated R.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, when you watch the show, you understand it's like violent and there's all type of stuff in there that's not for kids. But I just thought that was an interesting change, right? You expect if the show was PG-13 that probably the reverse that. You expect if the movie was PG-13, which is the bigger thing,
for
I feel
sure.
like the spin-off would probably be the same, but I appreciate that they made it rated R, even though my daughter can't see it currently. Um, I mean, I would let her watch it. It's just, it's not like there's mad sex. I mean, there is a lot of drug usage, and drug paraphernalia and drug sales. And so maybe that's why, but I don't know, whatever. I think, it's not like they're having wild, crazy orgies in the movie. But I guess that's based on everybody's perspective of what's appropriate for 14-year-olds and what's not. But anyway, I just thought I do want to mention that. I thought that was interesting that they did that kind of change, because clearly there's a jump, right? And so this is a more gritty, more raw piece of content, if you will. So I thought that was an interesting change, and I think that's worth mentioning. I had some pause when I saw them change it, but I totally understand why, and I think they did a great job, as I said.
Well, they up the ante for the show. Sounds like.
They definitely did.
I dig that. I
Yeah.
dig that. I'll be watching.
All
Just
right.
keep.
Oh, I will. I will. Yeah.
All
All right,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you saw Penguin, let us know what you think, and what do you think about Frank Ocean doing an A24 movie? If you have thoughts on that, let us know,
Put in the
and
clip.
we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.